today's lesson, we're not going to dive into anything. I hope everybody, into gratitude, we're just going to dive into the lesson. And I hope everybody had a great Memorial Day weekend. But we are going to pretend that I am a real estate agent going into a market that I've never been in. And I want to sell $500,000 that first year. I want to go from 0 to 500,000. And that is what we're going to talk about, our business plan, everything that we need to figure out in it. We're going to do that in 24 minutes. And hopefully everybody can leave with a business plan or put one together going off of this. So 0 to 500,000. We're going to pretend that the average commission in this marketplace, and it's 500,000 GCI, gross commission income, the amount of commission that you got paid on, not your net. We're not going to dive into that. If you want to look up that, go into the economic model on the MRA. We'll talk about that at a different one, but if you want to deal with the net, that's what we'll deal with there. But today, that's 0 to 500,000. So the first thing I need to do is I need to say, okay, what is the average commission in my marketplace? And for this pretend marketplace, it is $10,000. The average commission is $10,000. So I know that if I want to make $500,000, I need to divide 10,000 divided by $500,000, which is what? 50 units. So I need to sell 50 houses if I want to get $500,000 in GCI, my first year in real estate. But Ben, there's a problem. I don't know anybody. And what's our job as real estate agents? To sell houses to people. If you don't know any people, guess what you're not going to do? Sell any houses. So the first step is I know I need to have 50 units sold. Well, Ben, is there any math to show me how to get back to this? Yes, there is. And that's an exciting thing that we're going to talk about. The average conversion rate of a database in a good market is what? 6%. The average rate of a database in a bad market is what? 3%. When you're building your database, the average conversion rate within its first year, 1 to 2%. For the sake of this conversation, we're going to say it's 1%. So 1% of our database. And who goes into our database? Does anybody want to give me, like, who would you guys put in your database? Somebody just come up. I don't care who.
Everyone.
Everyone? What about the lady that you met at the open house that didn't you got her phone number and your name, but it wasn't a great conversation. Did she go in your database?
Absolutely.
Correct, Lori. Every single person you interact with ever goes in your database. Because every single person you ever interact with ever is going to buy, sell, or invest the thing that you sell. So everybody goes in your database. Thank you for that, Lori. So when we look at that, that's why we see a 1% of our database when we're building it. For the people that we add that first year, that's why I like a 1 to 2% conversion rate, because I've got no time to foster a relationship with them. So it's a lot of getting lucky, and I built that relationship over 6 months. That number increases as I build relationship over time, which is where we see that 3 to 6%. Does that make sense? Everybody give a thumbs up. Cool, thank you. So 50 units, knowing that the conversion rate of my database, my first year is going to be 1%. Ben, I got a lot of work cut out for me. You do. That's why you have a big goal. Anything worth doing is hard. So 50 units, 1%. So that means that every 100 people I add into my database, every 100 people I add into my database, and who goes in our database? Everybody. Thank you for the response. So 1%, every 1 in 100 will buy, sell, or invest in real estate with me this year. So 50 times 100 is what?
500.
5,000.
You said 50 times 100? Oh, 50. Yeah, 5,000. Sorry.
5,000. So that means 5,000 people need to go into our database. I'm going to show you guys something really, really cool in year 2 on this. So 5,000 people need to go in my database, and you're like, holy crap, Ben. That's a lot of people. I said, I agree. I agree. Now, you're a real estate agent, your first year in the industry. You still take vacations. You're not working 365 days a year because you like those vacations. I'm going to say you work 250 days a year. I'm giving you 115 days off. That's weekends. You're not really doing open houses. You're taking 3 months off for December. I'm going to say you're going to work 250 days. So now who wants to do some other math for me? So then I need to, okay, so I know I'm working 250 days. I need to have 5,000 people in my database by the end of the year with a 1 to 2% conversion rate. I'm going to sell 50 units my first year. If we are at any spot right now where we don't believe what I'm saying, tell me that you have a limiting belief and let's dispel it. The average commission is $10,000. If you agree, if you don't agree, say, I have a question about that. Okay, great. If I sell 50 units at an average commission of $10,000, I make $500,000. Do we agree? Great. Can we agree that 1 in 100 people that I put into my database will sell, knowing that the highest conversion rate of a database is 6%, but this is only the first year, so 1 in 100? Can we agree? Say yes.
Yes.
Great.
Yep.
Everybody said yes? Awesome. So 1 in 100. 100 times 50 is 5,000. I'm also giving you 250 days. If you don't have any belief, because now we got to talk about what this is, what has to happen. Let's talk about what it takes. So the first thing I need to do is, Ben, okay, what do I have to do every single day? Well, you don't have a database, so we got to get to that 200, that 5,000 people. So I'm working 250 days. I have 5,000 people I need to add into my database. What do I need to do every single day? 250 divided by 500,000 is what? $250 divided by 5,000.
0.05.
5,000 divided by 250.
So Sandy is backwards. 20.
20. Awesome. So the first thing that should go on your calendar every single day, if you are going to make $500,000, you need to get into the office at 8 a.m. And from 8 a.m. to noon, you are doing nothing other than prospecting. I don't care how, but your goal in that day is to add 20 contacts to your database. Does that make sense to everybody? Now that's a big goal. Do we agree? 20 contacts per day. So you're going to have to figure out a prospecting system that allows you to make 20 connections a day. Whether that's expired, for sale by owners, direct messaging people on Instagram, Facebook, whatever it might be, you're going to need to figure out a way to add 20 contacts per day. That could be internet lead generation. That could be pay-per-click leads that are coming into you that you're calling, that you're partnering with the lender. But if you want to make $500,000, you need to figure out what is that number every single day that you need to hit. Now remember, that's the first day. So we talked about, as a farmer, what does a farmer need to do every single day? He needs to plant seeds, harvest crop, plant seeds, water crop, and harvest. So from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., your one job is to plant seeds, 20 of them. Then from 12 to 1:30 p.m., now you're watering seeds. You're following up with everybody. Following up with the connections that you have, doing all of that other stuff. Then, because right now you don't have any business, your next point of the day is 1:30 to close is going on appointments. If you don't have appointments, you're growing more, you're planting more seeds. If you have pending contracts, either you're sending them to a virtual assistant to help you out or a transaction coordinator, or you're managing them. But remember, you have a big goal and your time is best spent prospecting. So pay the $250 per closing to have somebody manage that transaction for you. Does that make sense to everybody? Say yes. So if you're a real estate agent coming into a new market, you want to make $500,000, the thing that we need to break it down to its simplest possible form is 20 contacts per day. Whatever that number is for you, work backwards. Again, and then you're going to pick your pillar. Pick your pillar. Pick your lead generation pillar. How are you going to add those contacts? How are you planting those seeds? And then don't do 10 of them. Do 2 really, really well. That's your plan. Does that make sense to everybody? I had a point that I really wanted to share with you, but I have since forgot it. But pick your pillar. What questions do you have? Oh, let's talk about next year. Ben, that's a lot of freaking work. I know. I know. Because you're in an all-out sprint, you're trying to get drywall on your body because you're going from 0 to 500,000. Yes, with a 1% conversion rate. That is an all-out sprint. But let's talk about the power of compounding interest. If I know that my first year cultivating a database, I'm going to get a 1% conversion rate. But if I know if I cultivate it for 12 more months, what is my conversion rate going to be of that database?
It'll be higher the next year.
Could be higher, should be 2%. So without planting more seeds and just watering the 5,000 seeds you have, guess what this number does? It doubles. So you're going from making $500,000 to $1 million by watering seeds, the seeds that you planted. The biggest issue I see with real estate agents is they don't have enough people in their database. They don't have enough connections, and then they're doing lead generation that builds a database slowly and says that the results aren't coming quickly enough. You have to break down the number because the path is in the math. The math does not lie. You don't get to add 10 people to your database and have a 100% conversion rate. That will not happen. The path is in the math. You have to earn the right to reap the rewards from your database. Remember, your first year, there's 2 ways to get real estate. Law number 4 of the lead gen model. Service all leads. But remember, this is what your first year is going to look like in real estate. I promise you. You can spend time or money to get leads. I've talked about this before, but this is your first year in real estate. And you're going to spend a lot of time and money. And most of the business that comes to you that first year is going to be the holy crap, it's so great we met. I'm ready to buy right now. And your first year in real estate, you're pushing to find this. You are. You need to be. Because you can't cultivate relationships over time within 12 months. So you have to do a lot of work knowing that you're chasing now business. If you want a bigger number your first year, you have to do more work chasing now business. But then the second thing that most of those people in that 5,000, remember 99% of them are going to say, I'm not interested, which just means later. You don't really get to reap the rewards of later business until your second year in real estate, until your third year in real estate. Your first year in real estate is all about luck. Your first year in building your database is all about how much work did I put in. That's the grit. Build a system around that later business your first year so you're not spending your entire real estate career cold calling all day from 9 a.m. to noon. Does that make sense to everybody? Can I get a thumbs up? Give me some questions. Give me some things that I could dive in deeper to, or give me some ahas, or just say, Ben, you're a genius. We know everything. We're going to go do it, put a plan together. It's going to be on our calendar. We're going to execute it on it consistently, and we're all going to make the money that we want to make and serve the people that we want to serve. And if that's not the case, let me know now.
I think the biggest question new agents have are where to get the contacts, where to meet the people, where to talk. And also sometimes, I've been in business a long time, but even I get that question, like how do I keep adding? And I just try to put everyone and anyone I speak to. But that's what one question I've heard a lot of new agents ask.
So ask me, how do I get the contacts? How do I meet new people?
Yeah, and that's what I told them. I said just anywhere you go, your doctor's office, whoever you checks you in, and everything. You just get to know people.
It's as simple as that, Lori. It's how did you meet people before this?
Right.
Remember, this number can also be less, the amount of people that we need to add in a database every single day. This is if I got dropped into a market that I didn't know anybody in. If you're in a market where you know people, well, dummy, start with the people that are in your phone.
Facebook contacts too.
Facebook contacts. I mean, we are in a world where I can connect with 5 million people at the tip of my fingers. I can go on LinkedIn and type in Charleston healthcare providers and then just get a list of them and just start messaging those people.
Yep.
I can go on RedX and pull an entire neighborhood of phone numbers and emails in 2 seconds. I can go on Zillow and find every for rent by owner who gives me their name and phone number. There's thousands of systems that pull expireds and terminateds. If you're a new agent on this call and your answer is, I don't know where to start talking to people, call me and we're going to figure it out, because that's not an excuse. Because there are 1,000 ways to connect with people today. You're just putting a little barrier in yourself so you don't have to do the work on the front end. I'll just call it what it is, because it's at the tip of your fingers. Give me another question. If there is nothing, I will leave you again with this. You are farmers. You have 3 jobs in the real estate industry. You have to plant seeds every single day. You have to water those seeds, and you have to harvest the crop. If you are not doing those 3 things, remember, you are just dressing up as a farmer and not actually farming. That is your job as a real estate agent. Build a database, feed it daily, communicate with it systematically, and service all of your leads at a high level of service. Go do those things. Don't pretend to be a real estate agent today. That's all I got. Bye, friends.
Thank you.